get more in trouble, but I do.
Everybody see YoungBoy ain't mess with nobody. The boy doing his thing. But NLE Choppa, instead of him doing his own thing, he said, you know what, I'm gonna attack this man, I'm gonna mess with him.
Hey, bro, man, you irrelevant, and I said what I said, bro. You need a like.
Y'all think I'm crazy. I'm the fool. Okay, watch how this shit pan out. We really gonna see who really the fucking one.
NLE Choppa, listen to me. You can't go walk the runway. With that little walk, you remember that walk you had? I think I'm a bad. You can't come back from that walk.
Wipe that spit off your face.
NLE Choppa came out swinging with a whole messy diss track aimed at NBA YoungBoy, packed with loud dance moves, lookalike actors, and straight-up name-calling that had people saying he looked wild on camera. But instead of giving this loud performance a full reply, YoungBoy did something way colder. Something that hit way deeper than any long disc could ever do. He dropped a few low-energy, half-mumbled bars like he was brushing lint off his shirt, basically letting Choppa know he didn't even earn a real response. Picture Somion putting all their effort into dissing you, throwing every punch they can think of, and you come back sounding like you recorded your part half asleep. That's the ultimate you not on my level move. But before we even break down YoungBoy's reaction, we gotta run it back, because this whole situation didn't come out of nowhere. This tension been bubbling under the surface for a long time. People keep acting like this beef just popped up overnight, but the roots go way back, and the energy been weird for years. YoungBoy still ended up sending another slick response. And yes, it's exactly what you think. This whole thing got that idol-turned-enemy vibe written all over it. Back in 2016, YoungBoy was that rising star out of Baton Rouge, blowing up heavy off 38 Baby while he was still early in his career, already motivating young artists everywhere with the way he moved and the way he rapped. One of the young artists watching from a distance was a teenager from Memphis named Bryson Pottitz, the same person the world now knows as NLE Choppa. Back then, he was just hooping, freestyling with his boys, and studying YoungBoy's style heavy, taking notes, and getting inspired every time a new track dropped. This is the part people love to ignore. Choppa wasn't just influenced by YoungBoy, he was studying him like a blueprint. Choppa wasn't just inspired, he was basically trying to mirror YoungBoy's whole vibe, and the similarities were wild from the very beginning. Both of them even had rap names that sounded like they came from the same playbook, with NBA YoungBoy repping Never Broke Again and Choppa rolling with No Love. Entertainment before flipping it to NLE later on. They were both young artists from the South, both coming up fast, and Choppa was even remixing YoungBoy songs early in his career, like he was doing unofficial tributes. He dropped Through the Rain, his own spin on YoungBoy's Through the Storm. And then he remade drawing symbols like he was following YoungBoy's blueprint step for step. When Choppa finally took over the internet with ShotFlow in 2019, fans wasted no time pointing out the similarities. Folks said he was copying everything from YoungBoy's hairstyle to his energy to the way he carried himself. Every comment section was full of comparisons, and the debate kept getting louder every time both artists dropped new music. Interviewers even asked Choppa straight up who influenced his sound, and he didn't hide it at all. In that hip-hop interview, he said NBA YoungBoy, Meek Mill, and Lil Durk with zero hesitation. He kept it honest, letting the world know who he studied, who he respected, and who shaped the way he was making music. But this is where everything took a sharp turn, and the whole story got real spicy. Back in March 2019, Choppa hopped on Instagram Live, and his homies in the background started talking wild about YoungBoy while the stream had like 2,000 people watching. You could hear them clowning, saying stuff like, "Folks think he a real killer or something," and calling YoungBoy out his name like it was nothing. Choppa kept trying to calm him down, telling them to chill because he knew the live was public, but the damage was already done. YoungBoy heard about everything that was said, and he wasn't about to let something like that slide. The same day everything popped off, YoungBoy jumped on his own live and basically shut the whole conversation down, saying things like, "Ain't no killer who," making it clear the comments were disrespectful and came from people who didn't know what they were talking about. The internet instantly decided the two were officially beefing, and social media ran with it like wildfire. Choppa tried to undo the damage right away. He went live while getting his haircut, telling everybody that YoungBoy was still his favorite rapper and that he wanted to make music with him. He kept repeating, "YoungBoy, my favorite rapper, my favorite rapper. I'm trying to rock with YoungBoy, trying to calm the situation down." But the tension was already out in the streets, and the energy wasn't the same anymore. From YoungBoy's point of view, the disrespect was already felt. And when you're established, while another artist is still coming up, moments like these can shift the whole relationship. Things got even more complicated when Choppa started linking up with people connected to YoungBoy's long-running issues on the Louisiana side. Especially when Hamid Gangster Talk with Fredo Bang, someone who'd been on the opposite side of YoungBoy for years. On that track, fans claimed Choppa was throwing slick medical-related references that they believed were aimed toward YoungBoy, while Fredo included shots mentioning YoungBoy's late associate. Big dump. That whole collaboration made the internet go wild because people felt like Choppa was picking a side, even if he didn't say it outright. Then, Choppa started dating YoungBoy's ex-girlfriend, Young Blasian, and that just doubled the internet's reaction even more. People online were clowning, claiming Choppa wanted to be like YoungBoy so much that he was even going after the same women. Things got even more awkward during that one live where Choa played YoungBoy's track. Uncharted Love and Blasian instantly got upset and cut the stream off, which had social media roasting him heavy. But the real turning point came in January 2022, when the situation between YoungBoy Durk and King Von was shaking the whole hip-hop world. Academics tweeted, "NBA YoungBoy on Demon Time right now." And Lil Reese replied saying, "That ain't no demon time. He just rapping like the rest of these rappers." Choppa jumped in the conversation and said, "I stamped that," which let everybody know he was siding with the Chicago camp instead of staying neutral. That's when YoungBoy dropped his track, I Know, and the vibe of that record was chilling. Not in a violent way, but in how emotionally intense and unsettling the delivery was. YoungBoy used a haunting tone, singing with this eerie, cold energy that felt like he was aiming straight at Choppa's emotions, bringing up family, pain, fear, and consequences in a psychological kind of way instead of trying to sound tough. The way he delivered those words had people saying the track felt more like a mind game than a diss record. And you could hear the tension in every line, like he was speaking straight from a place of frustration and betrayal. YoungBoy opened that track with some of the coldest lines people had ever heard, talking about how Choppa's mom would be heartbroken if things ever went left, bringing her up repeatedly because she's not just his mother, she's his manager and someone he's close with. He even referenced that moment when Choppa said, "YoungBoy, my favorite rapper," then flipped it into a warning telling him to stay in his lane or face consequences, which shook the whole internet. The hook was the part that had everybody staring at their phones. YoungBoy was singing in that eerie, haunting tone, talking about taking someone's energy and saying Choppa's mom would be crying if anything ever happened. It felt like something out of a horror scene with how dark the delivery sounded, even though it was all coming through melody and emotion. YoungBoy didn't stop there. He also brought up the phase when Choppa was promoting healthy food, herbs, and spiritual lifestyle stuff back in 2020, twisting it into another point to poke at him. He even mentioned the Young Blasian situation, brushing it off and basically saying Choppa could have her, almost like he didn't care at all, which added to the tension between them. But the line that had the whole rap world talking was when YoungBoy made a reference to King Von's passing, saying Choppa would bite the dust the same way. And that shook fans everywhere because it crossed into an emotional situation connected to real loss. It wasn't just a simple jab, it was a moment that pushed the beef into darker territory and had listeners questioning how real things might get. What most people overlook is the regional heat behind all of this. This wasn't just two artists arguing. This was Memphis versus Baton Rouge energy, clashing on a bigger stage. Memphis is known for that raw street sound. 3-6 Mafia Yogati Money-Bag. Yo, the type of music that came straight from gritty neighborhoods and turned into worldwide influence. Baton Rouge, on the other hand, has YoungBoy at the center of its entire wave. When he blew up, he carried his whole city on his shoulders in a way nobody else had done before. So when Choppa, representing Memphis, started getting compared to YoungBoy early in his career, it turned into more than personal drama. It became a pride thing between two completely different cultures. People kept accusing Choppa of copying the Baton Rouge style instead of pushing his own Memphis legacy. And that hit different because Memphis has its own deep history and its own identity. Instead of folks saying he was carrying the Memphis torch, the internet kept calling him a Baton Rouge clone, which added a whole different layer to the tension. And then you've got the business side that people barely even talk about. labels, marketing, fan bases, rollout strategies, all playing into how both artists were perceived. And the industry decided to push at different times. This made every small situation between them feel way bigger than it actually was. YoungBoy claimed on his track top version that he owns a percentage of United Masters, the same distributor NLE Choppa uses for his No Love Entertainment label, which instantly created a whole new layer of tension. If that claim is even partially true, it means YoungBoy could be eating off Choppa's success behind the scenes. And that type of detail hits different when two artists are already clashing. On top of that, when Choppa started getting close with Lil Durk and the F Crew, he wasn't just collaborating. He was stepping into one of the biggest rap rivalries of the last few years. That type of move isn't just music. It's tied to history, alliances, and serious industry politics. And YoungBoy saw it as a straight betrayal, since Choppa used to shout him out as one of his favorites. Fast forward to now, and Choppa finally decided to fire back with a full-blown diss track, and he put everything into it like he was shooting a whole movie. The video had choreographed dances, YoungBoy lookalikes, wild scenes, and a level of production that showed he really wanted this to hit hard, throwing shots, calling names, and trying to shake the internet with every frame. But this is where the disrespect hits a whole different level. Instead of giving Choppa the type of response he clearly wanted, YoungBoy dropped Zero IQ Freestyle, a short piece with just a handful of bars aimed at him, mixed in with other random content. He delivered these lines like he was barely thinking about Choppa, brushing him off as if he wasn't worth a full track at all. YoungBoy said things like, "You ain't really slime, you ain't really G," and he ain't never ran down on nothing for real. But he said it with this calm, casual tone, like he was mentioning someone he barely remembered. He didn't even structure the song around the disses. He just slipped the shots in between other bars like it was a regular day for him. And the title Zero IQ alone felt like another jab, making it seem like YoungBoy was calling Choppa out for lacking the smarts to challenge him on any real level. The message was clear. Choppa threw a whole high-budget punch, and YoungBoy responded like he was swatting at a fly, which had the whole internet talking. And when YoungBoy says, "Baby girl, I'm sorry, I gotta like you," it low-key sounds like he's mocking Choppa for trying so hard to drag a reaction out of him. What really stands out about YoungBoy's response is the way he presented it on camera. The video starts off with raw, unfiltered footage, no fancy editing, no color grading, just him in his natural space, keeping it simple. Then, as the track picks up, the visuals slowly get cleaner and more polished, almost like he's showing the shift from not caring at all to getting a little more tapped in, but still never taking Choppa seriously enough to go all the way. When you compare that to Choppa's full-blown diss track with choreography, lookalikes, lighting setups, and a whole squad behind him, YoungBoy's calm one-take style feels even more dismissive. It really looks like YoungBoy just pressed record, spat a few lines, and dipped, while Choppa probably spent days planning, filming, and editing his response like a whole music video rollout. That difference alone already had people talking because the contrast made Choppa's effort look way heavier than YoungBoy's effortless vibe. Now, how did Choppa react to all of this? According to different clips floating around, he started saying YoungBoy was in trouble and throwing out verbal warnings like he was trying to raise the stakes. In one video, you can hear him saying, "Y'all don't know that boy in trouble. Y'all don't know that boy in trouble, but I do, and y'all think I'm crazy. I'm the fool." Okay, watch how this pan out. Sounding fired up like he wanted to take things further, when you drop a high-fort diss track and get back a handful of casual lines on a freestyle. That already feels like a loss in the eyes of the internet. YoungBoy treated the situation like a small annoyance instead of a real problem, and that alone showed how unbothered he was by Choppa's entire rollout. Choppa's reaction shows he's frustrated that he didn't get the big dramatic back and forth he was hoping for. He probably expected YoungBoy to release a full disc go bar for bar and help spark a huge moment online, something that would boost the tension and keep the spotlight on both of them. Instead, YoungBoy gave him the equivalent of a lazy shoulder tap and kept it moving. And now Choppa looks like he's trying to force a bigger response since the natural one didn't. From a strategy point of view, YoungBoy's move is actually genius because ignoring a loud disc hurts way more than responding with full aggression. In rap beef, sometimes the biggest form of disrespect is acting like your opponent isn't even worth your full energy. YoungBoy has been in heavy conflicts with major artists, Lil Durk, King Von, rest in peace, and others. So, for him to give Chopper just a few light bars sends a loud message without even raising his voice. It's like when someone tries to argue with you, but you respond with dry, one-word answers. That kind of indifference hits way harder than cussing or yelling ever could. YoungBoy is basically saying, I'm not giving you the full diss track you want because you're not earning that type of attention from me. And that attitude alone carries more weight than a whole verse designed to tear someone down. From a psychological angle, this response cuts deep for Choppa because he's been trying to prove he belongs on YoungBoy's level for years. So, when YoungBoy responds in this loafered way, it reinforces the idea that Choppa still isn't seen as equal. It's the ultimate "you not there yet" moment that no artist wants to face. We also gotta remember where YoungBoy is in his career right now. He's been dealing with serious legal problems, house arrest, time behind bars, industry pressure, and major public beefs. He's been fighting to hold on to his spot as one of the biggest artists out, all while juggling federal cases and trying to stay focused, which means his priorities have shifted big time. From YoungBoy's viewpoint, Chopper probably looks like another artist trying to use his name to get attention, and he's seen that tactic over and over again. A lot of up-and-coming rappers try to start friction with him to boost their careers. So, YoungBoy refusing to give Chopper a full battle is his way of stepping out of that cycle entirely. Plus, YoungBoy has been locked in on his family, his busness moves, and keeping himself out of situations that could bring more problems into his life. Getting dragged into a full-blown conflict with Chopper doesn't benefit him at all. He has bigger things on his plate than someone who used to call him an influence from day one. From a strategy breakdown, YoungBoy's approach was sharp. He didn't drop any heavy quotables that could go viral. And he didn't give Choppa anything that could be flipped into another disc or used for internet hype. Instead, he gave just enough to acknowledge the situation without pulling Chopper up to his level or allowing the conflict to turn into a back and forth he didn't ask for. The little bars YoungBoy did drop were more dismissive than anything aggressive, and that's what made them sting. Instead, offering to scare Chopper or hit him with heavy lines. He basically called him fake and irrelevant without raising his voice. That kind of calm, cold energy does more damage to someone's image than any harsh threat ever could because it makes the whole situation look one-sided. Watching fans react online has been wild because YoungBoy supporters are saying this was the perfect move, quiet, disrespectful, and completely denying Chopper the attention he was begging for. On Twitter and Instagram, YoungBoy fans been clowning, dropping laughing emojis, and saying things like, "We really said, who?" acting like Chopper got ignored by his own target. The overall vibe from YoungBoy's fanbase is that this was a power play. Acknowledge the disc just enough to show you heard it, but not enough to actually lift your opponent up. They feel like YoungBoy handled it with control, choosing not to respond with a full track because he didn't see Choppa as someone worth going back and forth with. Chopper fans, on the other hand, are definitely feeling the hit because they were expecting a whole back-and-forth moment that would push their guy into a bigger spotlight. Instead, they got something that felt like YoungBoy casually brushing him off. Like a smolassu he didn't need to waste time on, and that's tough for any fan base to swallow. Some are trying to span the situation online, saying YoungBoy is scared to fully engage, but that doesn't really match his history. He's gone at bigger names and dealt with more intense situations. So, saying he's scared doesn't really hold weight when you look at his past. The internet debates are allowed, but the evidence speaks for itself. So, where does this leave the situation now? Chopper's at a crossroads. He's got to decide whether he wants to keep pressing this issue or read the room and understand the message YoungBoy just sent. If he keeps dropping more disses, he risks looking like he's chasing YoungBoy's attention instead of focusing on himself. But if he stays quiet, it might look like he backed down from what he started, which can hit someone's pride hard in the rap world. The smart move for Choppa would be to take this whole moment as a lesson and put his energy into his own career. Because he's got talent, he's got a fan base, and he doesn't need to be tied to YoungBoy's name to shine. YoungBoy made his position loud and clear. He's not treating this situation like a real beef, and he definitely isn't giving Chopper the big spotlight he's chasing. That move alone shows how sharp YoungBoy is operating. Because why lift up somebody who's been trying to ride your wave since the very beginning when you can just keep moving like nothing happened? This whole moment puts the difference between a fully established artist and someone still trying to secure their place in the game on full display. YoungBoy doesn't have anything left to prove. His impact is locked in at this point, and his influence on the newer generation is something nobody can deny. His streams go crazy every month. His fan base is massive, and he's made it through situations that would have shut down most artists without ever losing momentum. Chopper, even with hits like Shot of Flow and his platinum achievements, is still fighting for that long-term respect in the rap world. And the fact that he felt he needed to diss YoungBoy at all just shows he's still trying to climb out of that comparison shadow people keep placing him in. YoungBoy's response, or honestly, his refusal to respond fully, only makes that dynamic even clearer. This whole situation might end up being a defining moment for both of them, but in completely different ways. For YoungBoy, it shows he's thinking strategically and not letting himself get dragged into unnecessary problems that don't benefit him. For Choppa, it's a reminder of where he stands in the rap hierarchy and how the internet views him when these situations come up. At the end of the day, this might go down as one of the most disrespectful non-responses in rap history because YoungBoy basically said, "You're not worth my full attention," without ever having to raise his voice or drop a full song. That kind of dismissal hits way harder than any direct insult ever could because it makes the other person look powerless instead of dangerous. Chopper wanted a full war. He wanted a bar-for-bar showdown, but YoungBoy brushed it off like a small irritation. And that difference in energy tells the whole story. And the fact that Choppa is now on camera saying YoungBoy is in trouble and talking heated just shows how frustrated he really is about not getting the big reaction he wanted. This whole moment is a perfect example of how to handle somebody trying to use your name for attention. Instead of feeding into it, you give them the bare minimum. Just enough to show you heard them, but never enough to bring them up to your level. That's real chess, not checkers. And YoungBoy played it with a calmness that's hard to match. Now, before we wrap this up, if you rock with breakdowns like this, make sure you join the family by turning those notifications on and hitting that subscribe button for Basscraft. The streets never sleep, and we're just getting started. There's way more stories, way more drama, and way more truth to dig into every single day. We drop heat daily, and tomorrow's upload is about to be even crazier, even deeper, and absolutely unmissable. So, smash that like button, share this video with all your homeboys, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll catch you in the next one, right here at Rap Uncovered, where the truth of Thestrids lies.